everybody, and welcome to Nerdsplaining Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me, as always, is my co-host, Jose Amaro.
Happy Nerd Day, everybody. Happy Super Bowl weekend, Nerd Day week, everybody. All nerds who watch sports.
Super Bowl week.
Super Bowl week. All nerds who like sports out there. So why not?
Sports nerds, comic book nerds, all welcome. This is a big week.
Exactly.
Super Bowl is the San Diego Comic-Con of football.
It really is. But you know what? Even if you don't watch the game and commercials, yeah, sure, of course. But for nerds out there, all the trailers start coming out.
The trailers, baby.
Tomorrow
it goes hand in hand.
They'll get released before the Super Bowl. They always show a shortened spot during the Super Bowl.
Right.
But
little
all the big
teaser
trailers
to the trailer.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's gonna be dropping. And actually, one dropped the first Marvel trailer because we're gonna get a bunch of the Marvel trailers, of course, and Flash and all that. But the first Marvel trailer came out on Thursday. Did you see that one?
No.
Yeah, the Fast 10, the newest Marvel film. So that's that was
You got me. You straight up got me.
It's very exciting to see that because we all know those movies are really Marvel films, and that trailer led nothing to believe there's going to be anything other than that.
After Fast and Furious 9, you're right. It is technically a superhero movie. They went to space. They knocked 10 dudes off of one throwback.
Ridiculous. Yeah, and this trailer, same, whatever. And it's funny because it does have Aquaman in there. We got Captain Marvel's in there as well, of course. Peacemaker's in there. So this literally is a Marvel film with all kinds of Groot's in there.
Yeah,
man, it's like to line them up. So whatever. But I saw that trailer. I'm like, oh man, I was just rolling my eyes the whole time, thinking, wow.
I haven't seen it. Now I'm gonna watch it and just be giddy about it the whole time.
It is what it is. I mean, it didn't look as exaggerated as the last one, but it's just a trailer. It's gonna get worse. And they only say family like 600 times in this trailer, so I was surprised.
Oh, good. So it's real subtle.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they didn't use a hammer this time. It was very. God,
it's really for the fans. It's the guys who get those deep cuts. Like, I know what you're talking about.
Family. Oh yeah. I haven't heard that in a while.
Nice. Okay.
That'll do a drinking game with the trailer. Every time they say family drink, right for the Super Bowl, the game will be a whole lot better.
Oh my God, that sounds fantastic.
Oh my God, it's like God, I'm hammering it.
That's like
God, that's so bad.
That's like doing a drinking game. If you watch A Few Good Men, you have to drink when they say code red. If you're still standing by the time that's over, you're a superhero. Which I did. I stood and I had to do a show afterwards. That's how hardcore, real deal I am.
Wow, because there's two
code red and then it performed.
There's Scarface and really more Glenn Ross watching that every time they say fuck.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, you die. It's not gonna happen.
If you do all three movies in the same day, it's a suicide note.
That's one way to go, right? Go out on top. It's really bad, but yeah. Listen, it's actually an interesting week because we have a lot of nuggets. We haven't had a full nugget show in a while.
That's true.
A lot of small stuff dropped, nothing big, but different things here and there. You and I were talking about Ant-Man early before we went on air. It's coming out this week. But the reactions did come in. They were screened. Tuesday, I think it was. I don't know. When it was, sometime this week, it was screened. So the reactions came out, which I always take with a grain of salt. But it is what it is. Reactions seem very positive, right? Which I expected.
A majority of them, yeah.
Majority. I mean, yeah, there's always a few. But, I mean, the one that's glowing as I thought they would have been, right? Which kind of concerns me. I talked to Peter, who knows a couple of folks where he works, and some people he trusts, and he sent me links to them and all that, and they weren't as impressed. So it concerned me, it concerned him. I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. It could be fantastic for all I know, but consensus-wise, I think most reviews.
You know what I noticed
is
that the people who were not happy with the movie or concerned about the movie, essentially, it was like it didn't feel like an Ant-Man movie, and I'm like. Yeah, because this is like the biggest one they're doing. This is not.
I mean, I saw stuff like that, which I'm fine with, to be honest with you. But the ones that I run across, or even my friend Peter, our friend, sent to us, that wasn't a concern. Like that wasn't a complaint. It was other things. It's very vague because it's an embargo till Tuesday, which is kind of concerning that the embargo lives so late. But whatever. But consensus, I think even the bad reviews or whatever negative reviews, Kang was off. It was great apparently.
Right. Everyone loves Johnny Majors. Right.
So
here's what I think. Here's what I think. And you tell me based on my interpretation. Because the two big complaints was, does it feel like an Ant-Man movie? And they said that there was no real stakes in the movie. And I kind of feel the reason why they're saying this is because this is just an idea, but they're going to play with the idea of variants. I mean, you kind of saw that in the trailer where there's like an army of Ant-Men making a beeline. Mm-hmm. So I feel like people are going to die and then almost immediately be replaced by their variant. And like, oh, it doesn't even matter. But the problem is those variants aren't 100% the person you just saw. There's things about them that are different. There's things about them that do affect story because of where they're from and their choices. So there are stakes, because if you saw a character die, that character straight up died. He just got replaced by somebody else.
I don't know what they're referencing. You know? So who knows? You may be right. I guess I can go both ways, because it's like cannon fodder. These people are just dying for the sake of it, right? Because you're not attached to any of these variants, right? You're attached to the Ant-Man who we know and grown to love, and the Wasp, and et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
So I don't know. I mean, who knows?
But, let's say it this way. If you have 50 Paul Rudds and 48 of them die, you still saw 48 Paul Rudds die. And that's going to break your heart one way or the other. There is no like, oh, this Paul Rudd doesn't matter. He's a national treasure. You know what I'm saying? That dude gives geeky comedy dudes an opportunity to think, one day I could be an Ant-Man and sexiest man in the world. Yeah, my heart's gonna die a little bit, like a fraction of a fraction, but it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, we all love some Paul Rudd, so I get it, and yeah, I feel pain every time he would die. But I mean, listen, I'm still looking forward to it. I'm just more curious than anything else, right? I mean, they're not glowing reviews. They're not like, oh my God, it's the next best Marvel film, which we generally hear a lot, right? So
no one is saying this is No Way Home. No one is saying this is Winter Soldier.
Right, exactly. But I mean, I'm just concerned more with the fact that, like I always said, it's probably gonna be a good movie. We said that. We wanted out of the gate, we wanted something great to set up what we have. So I'm not getting the vibe. Doesn't mean that's not it. Just because I haven't seen it, you haven't seen it, but
here's my thing.
The vibe I'm getting where it's good.
Here's my thing. If it's better than Black Widow, it's a step in the right direction.
Well, that's a very low bar.
I have a very low bar.
That's fine. I got the fair. Let's see. I mean, I guess people did like it. Most people did like it. Don't get me wrong. And I think we did I was looking at earlier. We did the Price is Right and Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is going to lean more your way. I had 75. You have 82. I think this is going to be in the mid 80s. That's what I'm thinking.
All right, that's not bad.
That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, but just based on what you see. But again, let's see. I mean, I'm going to make a point to see it. We're not doing the show next week, so we'll have to wait a couple of weeks. We'll talk about our thoughts as far as whether it lived up to the hype or whatever, or did it set up Phase 5 how we wanted it, right? We wanted it to be
absolutely
like this. We wanted a high tier 2, right? That's what I would like to see.
We wanted it to start off with a jab in the face. This sounds like it's a body blow, and that's what it is. Like, it's cool, but I want to like if you're not punching that dude right in the, like, as the audience, if I'm not getting punched in the nose with awesomeness, you get punched in the neck because that's against the rules. That's an illegal hit. But so you're gonna body blow it, and that's okay. But if you know boxing, if you're gonna body blow, you better have a hell of a haymaker to follow through with that. That's what I'm saying.
True. A little counter right in the ribs.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So let's see. I mean, like I said, it's a few days away. We're not a week away from it. So yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I know it's gonna be fine. It's not gonna be a bad film. There's not. I think we all can agree on that. It's just
if the only chance the Ant-Man series had a chance to be a bad movie was Ant-Man 1. And they did a fun job of it. Yeah, that's the thing about Ant-Man. Yeah. Ant-Man movies, I never come in going, this is going to be the greatest movie ever. I always think, this is going to be fun.
Exactly.
And that's what it was. Ant-Man 1 was fun. Ant-Man and the Wasp, fun. Yeah, so as long as it was fun, it did what I expect out of an Ant-Man movie.
But I think this one, they're building it more as, even the director said it's going to be that Avengers type thing. Slow it down, maybe, I don't know, but that's what he's building it up as.
Listen, as I said before, 50 Ant-Mans don't make it Avengers.
Oh, I'm with you.
It's a hive.
I get it. I'm with you. But there are 2 after credit scenes out there for those who were wondering.
And I will say, everyone that reported on the after credit scenes loved it.
Yeah, they're very cool. Yeah, so yeah.
I actually heard like a handful of reviews are like the after credit scenes are almost worth the price of admission of the movie, which is either a huge slap across the face of the movie or a huge big up on.
Right, that could be a backhand compliment on that one. So
yeah,
you're right.
I don't know how that means, but
like I always say, if the end credit scene is better than the film, that's not a good endorsement for the film, right? It's not.
It's not.
It's not. You're right. I'll give you that. That is true. I think
but listen, I
watched
Black Adam, and so I'm okay with it. Cool after credit scene.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. So, but yeah, so we'll know, enough, and let's do good Marvel because we got some couple of nuggets from Marvel here, and this one's an interesting one. This one came out later, I think yesterday. Patrick Stewart, Captain Picard himself. We got season 3 coming up. I know you're not a huge fan of Picard. I'm whatever about it. Whatever.
So am I.
But I did hear season 3 is really, really good though. I've heard that even before the trailer, all that came out, people who saw it, they really, really liked it. And those people who didn't even like the first 2 seasons like
season 3?
Right. So for whatever that's worth. Again, I haven't seen it. But that being said, I guess, talking to him, I guess he's doing his, press tour and all that. And they talked about Deadpool 3. Addressing if he was going to be in it, whatnot. And he says he was told, as far as his role in it, he was told by the powers that be to stand by. Those are his words.
Stand back and stand by.
Stand by. First of all, you don't tell Picard to stand by, homie. He tells you to stand by. Let's just say that now.
You tell Patrick Stewart, make it so.
That's what you tell
Patrick Stewart. You never tell him to stand by.
No respect, but we'll leave that aside. But apparently,
put some respect on that name.
This does hint that he might probably be make a cameo or whatever in Deadpool 3, which I thought would be a great idea, and that's cool. I mean, I will only accept Patrick Stewart's cameo if he's crazy Patrick Stewart from Logan. You don't want to see him as regular? Whatever.
I want him randomly talking about the chalupa, and what a great deal it is to talk about. If it's not that, it's nothing.
Stand by. Actually, you know what? That would make sense just because.
Wouldn't that be fun? That would be a really fun version of Patrick Stewart to bring back. Would be the Logan Patrick Stewart, because we got badass Professor X in Doctor Strange. We got him. Sure. Yellow chair, green suit. Cool. We got him. Give me only because it's Deadpool. I'd like crazy Professor X.
I think that will work because that's the last time we saw Logan.
Right.
And maybe. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of multiverse thing. That's the only way I can see this movie working, right?
Wouldn't it be amazing if the reason why Professor X had his first mental breakdown that killed all the X-Men from the past of Logan is because of Deadpool? Like maybe he's worried the Cerebro and Deadpool smacks him and he triggers the thing and he kills all the X-Men. He's like, we gotta get out of here, Logan, and they just jump out.
Nice little tie-in.
That would be pretty awesome. That would be pretty awesome.
With Deadpool, you can really do anything, I guess. So that would kind of work. It'd be funny if they make fun of it, but yeah, he's gonna be in it. I don't see why he wouldn't be in it. I mean, they've had the X-Men before pop up in this, right?
Yeah, they did the first class the Vaughn version of X-Men show up in a brief cameo in Deadpool 2. They were in the background, which didn't make any sense because they're all young. And Deadpool's happening now.
Well, yeah,
so there's no reason they should be there. But that was fun.
It's fine. We'll forgive it. The first one, was there one?
It was First Class. It was Days of Future Past.
And the first Deadpool, they made reference to which
Wolverine, clearly.
Yeah, which Professor X and all that.
Right,
Dr.
exactly.
Boy or what's this back? I forgot his name. Ian McKellen, was that the first?
It's
that's Magneto. Stewart or
Patrick
McAvoy.
Stewart
right. So it didn't reference the X-Men. So interesting. So it'll be kind of cool. I got a feeling it's going to be announced on this, do that. But speaking of announcements, we'll stick with Marvel. Little Fantastic Four news coming out. So I know you're excited about Fantastic Four.
Dude, I've had my own Fantastic Four pitch for years. Clearly, no one's listening to me. Let's hear this nugget that they got now.
It's their loss.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the director came out. Matt Shackman. He finally spoke.
Former director of episodes of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So
that's true. Yeah, a little bit of WandaVision, which
I mean, clearly WandaVision, but you got to give little Sunny credit where Sunny credit's due.
Everyone likes little Always Sunny. But he finally spoke and he came out and talked about Fantastic Four, and he didn't mention officially begins production or filming whatever in early 2024, right, which is less than a year away.
Sure.
Not too surprised. They asked them about the casting, and he's like, and there's a lot of rumors out there. He didn't dispel anything. He didn't say they had not cast it. He didn't say the rumors are true. He just said there's rumors out there. He kind of left it at that. Because clearly, because the fact that this is being starting production in less than a year. The cast is set.
Very much so.
Guaranteed.
You know it is.
I don't care what anybody. At least the majority of the cast. I'm sure there's some.
No official announcements, but they guarantee you they know who Reed's going to be. Guaranteed. They know who the thing because they got to do preliminary work on the CG.
Sure.
They already got his face going on, so they know the thing's going to be.
Guaranteed.
Johnny, they got it because of the CG issues. They got to do Johnny. Invisible Woman, you can play around with. Doom, because it's behind a mask, a lot of VO work you can play around with.
Sure.
But those three you got to have up front.
I'm sure they have all four. I mean, I don't. There's not a doubt in the world that they've already cast them, or at least maybe 3 out of 4. There's guarantee. There's no way you have the script's already done. Obviously, I'm sure they start some pre-production stuff in the next couple of months. And you know, because listen, you don't start filming right because this is all scheduled. Right, you schedule your actors have to be available for the scheduled time you said to film the movie. So yeah, they know who is being cast in this film. Just a matter of when they're gonna tell us Comic-Con all that. But there is some rumors coming out because this guy, I forgot his name. He's from the show You on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
And I forget his name. It'll pop up in a second. But that being said, I don't know if you've seen You, but I know popular show on Netflix.
I know of it. I know it's on Netflix. As a matter of fact, Velma, the cartoon series that no one watches, I've been watching just to kind of keep track of it.
Right.
Had a really funny joke where Fred is like, "Oh my God, I'm so popular. I feel like a sitcom on Netflix." So I was like, "That's a great joke. It's a great joke."
Penn Bagley. There we go. It's his name.
Okay.
So yes, he was on a podcast. Talking to him. He's 36, so he's a good age to play. Like there's the rumor of him attached to Reed. The Fantastic Four. Asking about that and whatever. Has he met with Feige? Is he cast? And he kind of just said his words. I don't know the context. Because this is just all written that I read. I can neither confirm nor deny that. So he didn't go the Andrew Garfield and just flat out lie route. He didn't go Tom Holland spill the beans route. Right? Andrew Garfield. I don't know. We neither confirm deny. That's pretty. I mean, that says a lot, right? Without saying much.
The government's been saying that for years about UFOs, and we finally got videos of UFOs. So if you're saying that, you're kind of admitting.
I mean, it's not obviously it's not set in stone. It's still a rumor. I get it, but because he could just the best thing always to do is say no, like Andrew Garfield, right? Just no, I don't know what you're talking about, or just whatever, or say yeah. You can't just hedge your bets here, right down the middle and say, maybe not. Wink at the camera. So it seems maybe that he could be one of those who we know have been cast already.
Sure.
You're not familiar with him, so you've never seen the show. So I don't know if you see him in anything else.
I've heard the name. I've heard Penn Bagley before. I can't put a face to the name. If you're showing his face right now, I can't see who's there.
Yeah.
So whatever he looks like. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
He's fine. I mean, I always call it Dexter light, very light. I like Dexter.
All right.
Some similarities between the shows. He's good in it though. I mean, listen, Marvel, nothing else, right? They always get casting right 90% of the time, maybe more.
Yeah.
Right. So
very few. And sometimes the casting is great, but how they use it is bad. But the casting is great.
Right. Like usually they're usually very spot on with the casting, right? They have no complaints about casting themselves. So this was a good choice. I can live with that. I mean, again, if this is true, and we'll see. But Comic-Con's coming up eventually. I think they're going to drop this. This is going to get dropped. This may leak before. I got a feeling it may leak before, but it's coming. There's no way you can tell he's not cast. I don't want to hear the nonsense. I don't.
So here's my question to you before we move forward.
Sure.
Because we've talked about this. Obviously, you say Fantastic Four, everyone starts talking Doctor Doom.
Right.
I feel like he's going to be there tangentially. I feel like he should be a sequel villain, not the main villain. Who would you want to be the main big bad for the first Fantastic Four? And if you're not familiar with Fantastic Four, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not.
I can throw out a couple names, but
I mean, I'm not too familiar. Galactus is part of Silver Surfer, I guess.
Clearly,
I know the big guns in Doctor Doom, but that's what I know of Fantastic Four. So I don't know what villains are out there. If you're not going to use Doctor Doom or use him as a secondary villain or just setting him up for whatever's coming up in the future, I'll be honest. I don't know if they do this without Doctor Doom being the main guy. I mean,
I kind of think
he is the villain associated with this.
Right. I mean, and here's the thing: if they were going to use him in Secret Wars, I say yes. But Marvel's already announced. Mind you, Marvel could lie at any time. We saw the original Infinity War trailer. They lied about scenes that didn't happen in the movie, which apparently now we can sue about. So who knows?
So we can get compensated monetarily. Thank you very much.
But I kind of feel like it'd be really interesting to maybe do a thing where the Galactus is the third movie villain. The first movie villain I would like to see is Annihilus, which is he's like the God King of the Negative Zone, which you saw a little bit in the Fantastic movie, which they horribly used that. So if you do the Negative Zone as you saw Annihilus, Negative Zone, and because of the issue with Annihilus, not only does it get the attention of Galactus, which is why it takes him 3 movies to get here, but because of those energies, it's what damages Victor Von Doom, so he becomes Doctor Doom in the sequel. Annihilus, Doom, Galactus, you got your trilogy right there. And it, as classic movie does, the problem for movie 1 becomes a thing in movie 3. So you do the Negative Zone, and that's what catches Galactus' attention to come towards Earth. Now you have the situation here where it's Galactus. I think that would, to me, would be a great trilogy of villains, making it very different. You're getting a completely new villain in the first movie. Second movie is a villain for the first 2 Fantastic Four movies. And then the third one is the version of Galactus we should have gotten instead of the smoke monster a la Lost in Fantastic Four 2. You pay homage, but you give breathing room to everything. That's how I would do it.
The Galactus for sure, because I think, because the only problem with this next phase, it seems so short, right? With the whole Kang thing, just like at 2 years and it's over. It's weird. So he's a perfect villain to set up for the next phase or whatever, and the next big baddie, right? He makes sense.
Absolutely.
So I think we won't see him now. We got in a second, maybe hint him in a second film or something like that. Drop him in the third one or whatever.
I think you hint him in the second, drop him in the third, and then explain that he was actually connected to what happened in the first. So that's your big reveal. That's the way I would do it. But that's just I hope that but I don't want Doom to be the first big bad. Like have him there, but not the big bad.
Right, maybe before he's Doom or whatever.
Exactly, before Doom. And they carry, because Fantastic introduced the Negative Zone, which was cool, and then they did garbage with it. And then they did the whole, here's Dr. Doom before he became, and then like shoehorned a weird version of him at the end. And I was like, what? If you're doing the Negative Zone, do Annihilus. Why make Doom? Like, it was stupid. Yeah, so.
Well, I mean, curious. I mean, we'll hear that. I'm sure we had the full cast will be out by Comic-Con.
Absolutely. I think you're right. You're right about that.
Or they can say for D23, I guess, like a few months after. I got a feeling earlier because this stuff leaks. It's gonna leak. I guarantee. I've been trying, can't get any answers, but this is gonna leak at some point. I guarantee it.
And I hope the Foo Fighters do the whole score for the movie.
There you go. Good choice though. I love me some Foo Fighters, man. Next one, let's go to Sony. Get Sony some love.
All right.
Sony every so often deserves some love. This is a Sony and Amazon Prime kind of thing. Still Sony, right? So we talked about, was it Silk?
Silk.
Silk.
Just Silk.
Just Silk. Okay, I thought it was something else. Okay. They're going to make a live action series. Well, they just announced another live action series in the works. Spiderman Noir. Live action, set in the 30s, New York style, like true detective noir. It's not a
Peter Parker character. Digging all that, yeah.
Very cool announcement. This really got me excited, especially if Nicolas Cage just gets brought on, which I'll be fantastic.
I heard he's not.
He's not going to be, but it would be nice.
I would love.
That's what I'm saying. I'll be ecstatic. They brought him in.
Make Nicolas Cage Spider-Man Noir's Uncle Ben. How do you not do that?
That's a good point.
That would be amazing.
That'd be kind of funny. But yeah, so they're not. So it looks Amazon's really going all in with this Spider-Man universe, which is cool. And I think I'm more excited about this than Silk, to be honest. And just because I'm more familiar with it. But this seems cool, like this 1930s take, kind of old New York school. I like that Depression era kind of thing. This seems prime for like a true detective story as we know it, when the noir was based out of anyway.
Listen, I'm a big fan of crime noir, even stuff from like L.A. Confidential, which was a colored crime noir.
Right, exactly. That kind of had the vibe, right?
Like if that, and you keep Spider-Man in the black and grays, like that crime, you need that, almost like the Shadow. That's what kind of makes Spider-Man into the sense of his fashion. Like, I really hope that's the way to go about it, because it's such a great timepiece aesthetic to what Spider-Man is, and seeing all the big bads in that almost like very low grade steampunky version of things they would do. You could connect it to fighting Nazis like the Rocketeer. Like it's such a rich way to go about it. I think it's a really smart movie.
Last like gangsters and all that. Because I would assume this will be a little more grounded, right? I guess.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not familiar if the Spider-Man Noir character has the same kind of powers as Spider-Man does. I don't know.
He does, but he doesn't. But everyone is downgraded a lot, so it becomes very practical to do.
Okay. Which I would prefer that,
Right. Like even like the Green Goblin is almost like a version of like Bane, where it's like a steroid thing that kind of more so to become like a little bit like a Mr. Hyde, a little bit of Bane, but it's very like in that world. Think of like OG Batman. That's what you're going for. So mad scientist, a lot. It's
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of nice rich world, but at that time, gangsters rule. They're prohibition, all that stuff. And that time coming out of it. Nazis, you're right, stuff like that. I think that'd be cool. This is a really good take. I think it's a really good original take on the Spider-Man universe. Something untypical. I think
and you have the brand identity. Powers, right? Yeah, and you have the brand identity from across the Spider-Verse. Everybody knows Spider-Man Noir because of that, but now you're going to see like a hard version of that. Think about it. You have the intensity of a True Detective, but the aesthetic of L.A. Confidential and the action of a Spider-Man, and you could do it on a budget. Forget about it.
Look, this sounds very promising. You're right, but very graphic, not mature. I'm the right word I want to say.
Mature, yes, mature, absolutely.
Really cool idea. Good film. This is a really good choice to make a live action. This one really gets me excited. I'm sure Silk would be fine, but this is one I kind of guess the juice is flowing. And then Amazon, to stick with Amazon because they're diving into all kinds of genre stuff.
Sure,
we know Last of Us, which we'll talk about momentarily. Video games, video game properties are going to be. I'm sure they're going to be a ton of them coming through, trying to mirror the success of The Last of Us. So Tomb Raider apparently now is going to be a series on Amazon.
Wow! All right.
So they brought in Phoebe Waller-Bridge to write it, who actually is great. If you've seen Fleabag,
fantastic,
awesome, fantastic. She was really good, and she co-wrote The Last Bond. She's going to be in Indiana Jones. She's going to be Indiana Jones. So she also wrote the first season, the best season of Killing Eve, which is a really cool show on AMC.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she's really good. So they're bringing her in to write it. That obviously they haven't cast anybody, or at least that we're aware of. But, mixed feelings because Tomb Raider, let's be clear, let's be honest, has not exactly thrived.
Outside of video games, not the best. I get it. I get it. And here's the thing, let's be honest. I feel like Amazon saw Disney was watching Disney Plus. And I was like, that National Treasure, let's do that. But like better because
way better, please.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, anyone who complains about Marvel and DC, watch National Treasure and go, you know what? I was wrong.
Really bad. God, terrible. But
so bad.
Really bad. It can't be that. It can't be that bad. I mean, listen. There's material to be mined from this, right? Because this could be a really cool adventure.
It could be,
as long as they don't give it the Uncharted treatment.
Yeah, don't make it. If you're gonna slit someone's throat, they don't fall down dry. Sorry, that's not how bodies work. So if there's an internal logic, I'm in. If there's not, go screw yourself. I'm gonna watch for Invincible season 2.
Right,
so,
yes, exactly. But I mean, bringing in Waller-Bridge, I think that's a really good move because I like her.
That was a really smart move.
She knows how to write. She's done it before. I guess listen. The last one was the last Tomb Raider, Alicia Vikander. It was I mean, I didn't hate it.
I like the tone.
Yeah,
I like the tone of the world. I didn't like the story.
Right.
It felt like everyone was really overwhelmed over a very simple idea. I was like, how is this problematic? Like, why are you guys having a hard time figuring this out? I figured it out, and I'm an idiot. So,
I mean, it's keep it simple. This is a Indiana Jones-esque type of story. It's what it is, right? It's Uncharted, right? With the female lead. It's essentially what it is for the most part.
Make it real world problem solving until like the last 20 minutes we got a little bit of magic, but it's not the whole thing, and you're done. Exactly. And the magic is subtle. It doesn't have to be going back in time like those other, like in that one movie that they did where it can be. It's real subtle.
Like the first one, the new one, the last one tried. It didn't come together fine. But this is cool, man. I'm interested. Cast an unknown. I don't even want to see it because cast someone unknown. I don't know, someone new, fresh face out there, whatever, good budget. Amazon doesn't skip on budget. They always tend to. The production's very high. It's very HBO-esque.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Which is important for a show like this. So yeah, this is interesting. I mean, it's not as exciting as Black Noir, but okay, whatever. Again, just do better than Uncharted. The bar is set down here, right? In terms of that, we know what the high bar,
exactly.
is, right? But the low bar is Uncharted, recent bar anyway.
No, the low bar is National Treasure. The TV series.
Fair enough. But that was,
and then you have
that wasn't a video game property. To be fair, that was just a remake. So
okay.
Yeah, talking about just video game, just to keep it fair. But you're right. No, National Treasure is really, that show sucks. It's terrible. I think I saw 2 and I was out, and I don't know why I even lasted 2, to be honest with you. Shame on me for that.
Really?
DC. Let's finish out some DC. We touch all the big boys here. Let's go to some DC. So DC. A couple of things. One was a really interesting, really cool story where I think after they announced, we talked about this. They announced all this slate coming up, partial slate anyway, and they talked about Swamp Thing. And I guess James Mangold, who's just finishing the last Indiana Jones. Right? Hopefully that's good. But who's a really good director. He's really
great director.
He's
Logan,
really
guys.
He's great.
The Wolverine was more fun, like action, but Logan is the standard. If you want to think James Mangold, Logan's where you want to think.
Yeah, and even like I said, and I think the third act, as far as this Wolverine was probably, I'm going to blame the studio for that. But Ford vs Ferrari is great. Got Interrupted, Copland, 310 of Yuma. This guy's legit.
Yeah, absolutely
legit.
Copland's great.
It is. He's very. It does a lot. He's very diverse. So we'll see how this Indiana Jones comes out. Hopefully, it's good. But he's not. But now apparently he is now officially, because he expressed interest. But he probably did that because he's in talks to direct Swamp Thing. And we mentioned, James Wan. I think we brought up other ones that we like to see it. I'll take James Mangold. I'm like,
absolutely.
Big win if this comes out fruition. He hasn't done horror, right? I think the horror, but he's done everything else, dude. What can he do? That's the way I'm looking
Seriously.
at it.
Look, we said James Wan because he's got an experience with horror.
Right, exactly.
But in terms of like quality of product, Mangold has outdone Wan 2-1.
Yeah, it's not even debate, right? I mean, James Wan, in terms of the realm of horror, he's up there with anybody else. Fine, and that's why I recommend. I would like to see him, but you give me a choice between Wan and Mangold, taking Mangold all day long. I'm not even looking back. Easily, this guy's
not even flinching.
A legit
Absolutely.
Director. I hope that's true, because again, we talk about James Gunn, and you need to have you can announce all the projects you want. Get the right people behind this to bring this vision out. This is how you start getting quality directors, storytellers like a James Mangold. This is a big win. If again,
weirdly enough, the first director that they're really talking about outside of Gunn himself is the guy who's going to apparently take over the last project they're going to do. It's the tail end of the chapter. Because they announced everything else. And he goes, and finally, Swamp Thing. Oh, Swamp Thing's got a director.
I know, right?
Movie. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Well, we don't know when Swamp Thing's releasing, but
how about I'll raise you. I hear your James Mangold Swamp Thing, which is a great tidbit, and I raise you this question. Because we have the Batman, right?
Sure.
Who would you want to direct The Brave and the Bold?
I want to go back to, because I was so excited years ago when Ben Affleck was involved. He was supposed to direct the Batman, right? And he wrote the script for it with Manganiello playing Deathstroke or whatever.
It was with Jeff Johns who wrote the script.
Yeah, and he hasn't directed in a while. I just saw the trailer for Air, right? The story about the Air Jordans with Matt Damon's in it, whatever.
Yes.
In it. I was like, he's back directing again. You know what? I think because he loves Batman. And Affleck's a great director. He really is. I would like to see him come back and do the Batman that we thought we were going to get years ago.
Could not disagree with you more.
Wow.
I feel like Batman is an albatross around his neck. It's going to bring him back to drinking. I want him
That's fine. Listen, he's divorced J-Lo, and she's back available for the rest of us. So you know what?
Oh yeah,
everybody wins.
Listen. We happen to know certain people are getting married or getting off the market, so J-Lo's not an option to all of us. Just saying. That being said,
I'm saying there's a chance, to quote the great Jim Carrey.
That being said, you tell me Ben Affleck directs The Authority, I'm fucking in. That's gonna be the one I wanted to direct. I want that
because you dropped a James Gunn nugget for that, which I am with you there.
He's going to exercise all his Justice League demons through The Authority. It's going to be fantastic.
But let's be clear. Ben Affleck directing any of these is fine.
Absolutely. The guy is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like I always tell people, forget about The Town, which is fantastic. Forget about Argo, which is fantastic. I was hooked on Gone. Absolutely. I don't know. Gone was David Fincher, wasn't it?
Gone Girl.
Gone Girl. Oh yeah. Gone was
I mean, I'm sorry. Gone Baby Gone. There's two with the Gone.
Gone Baby Gone. Yeah, absolutely.
Great movie. Yeah.
But I will say, watch Hollywoodland. That's how I became hooked with Ben Affleck's director. His Hollywoodland was spectacular. I was like, you took the OG 50s TV Superman and made a compelling movie about. Like, I was in. So like, I love it. But to me, I think I would love to see him as directing The Authority. You get that in, I'm like, that's gonna be cathartic for him. He needs to work. Did you see his face in the Grammys? The man is carrying demons inside of him. He needs to get it out. Authority's a way to do it.
Again, fine by me. Any project, whatever.
All right.
Green Lanterns,
sure.
Whatever. Just toss his name in there. Pick one. Pick whatever. What do you want? Okay, great. Take it. If James Gunn say give you carte blanche, pick one out of these films. Okay, great. Let's go with it. I'll be totally, completely on board with that. Absolutely. Like I said, get good people behind the camera. Dude. That's all you need. That's how you start. That's how you start.
Easy. Sure.
I mean, let's be honest. That's how it goes. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And stay with DC. Last DC here. There's I don't know if it's a DC. It's a DC Warner Bros. Story. I'm gonna blame Warner Bros. Here because
cool.
Little confusion going on because it was a story released early this week, and we had talked about this previously, where I think they were gonna have in development for Constantine 2 with Keanu.
Yes.
We talked about it. Okay, cool, right? I can dig that. And apparently they talked to Keanu Reeves recently, or I talked to him, and I guess a source had said that this was no longer development, and that story got published.
Right.
And then like the next day, literally the next day, there's another story by someone who wrote it. I think on a Variety Hollywood Reporter, I don't remember, but they cited a different source that says, nay, that Constantine 2 is still technically in development. So two different sources, two different outcomes. What the fuck is going on here? I thought this was gonna be really axed because it was announced before James. The initial first was announced before James Gunn took over. I figured this is just gonna whatever, right? But I guess Warner Bros. Apparently is stating it's still in development. I don't know. I would like to see it. I think you can do it because what did James Gunn say in this little speech?
Elseworlds, baby.
Exactly. Although this is based off established property, that wasn't part of the DCU at the time as we knew it at all. I think that was before any of that stuff, right? Even before the Batman.
Yeah, it was way before.
2004, 2005.
People were surprised to see the DC logo in the theater when the movie was like, this is a DC movie? Because no one knew. It's a dude who smokes and exercises demons, doesn't wear a cape. He's an asshole. People are calling him a piece of shit to his face. Like, what hero is this? It's John Constantine. That's what kind of hero it is.
It's a different. I would like to see this. I don't know if I want to see that. And I love Keanu Reeves. I do. But I think because his name's still attached, I would like to see it, a different version of it, and non-Keanu Reeves version. And I know it could be blasphemous to some people. I get it. He is John Wick.
I happen to like the Constantine from the TV series. They did the actual Hellblazer at NBC. He's great, but he's not going to get it. If we're not getting CW Flash, we're not going to get NBC Flash.
We're not getting NBC Constantine. So I wouldn't mind it, but again, it's just weird. Like, make up your fucking minds. I thought this was behind this. That we were past.
Look, all I'm going to say is this. I think the entire reason there's even a sequel to talk about is because when they had Keanu Reeves in a meeting, they're like, we can't wait to do John Wick 5. And he's like, can we do Constantine first? You've promised me. I said if I could make John Wick 1 and 2, if I did 3 and 4, I'd get Constantine. They, but we just gave DC to James Gunn. He's like, I want Constantine. And so I feel like they owe it to him.
This is the favorite film. I mean, yeah.
As a favorite.
It's a favorite film. I mean, I don't know. I would like to see. I like the world of Constantine. I think it's cool. What else? I think it's great Elseworld stuff, or maybe you can do something in the DC. I don't know, maybe perhaps. But again, this is the beauty about the Elseworld. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They really
That's the beauty of like what ifs and Elseworlds. You could do whatever the fuck you want.
Doesn't have to fit anywhere. There's no sandbox to play in.
It's
your sandbox, right?
Yeah, it's just and part of you can literally make allusions to movies without having to affect the movie's continuity. It's like, hey guys, remember that? Now it's part of this. Holy shit, that's amazing. Yeah. That's the part of the joy of an Elseworld and a what if. So you can. And you can do just one and walk away from it. And no one is ever going to be bummed out about what happens next. Who gives a shit? It's an Elseworld. Exactly. It's a done in one.
It could be a one, or if it, like Joker hit big, you do another one because money talks.
Yeah, you make $1 billion on Constantine. You're doing a Constantine 3. Yeah, absolutely.
There's no way around it. So barring that, yes, I think this would be a great way to do it. I mean, I don't see why not. So I guess if it's still in the works and development, whatever, fine. I still don't want to see Keanu Reeves. I want to see a new version, a fresh take on this. I really do.
I mean, me too. Yeah. But I do have a sweet spot in my heart for Keanu Reeves Constantine, because everything about him is not Constantine. There's no blonde hair. He's not British. It is an American version of Constantine, and I love it because it's a total middle finger to everything that made Constantine great, which is the great thing that John Constantine would do, is give a middle finger to everybody. So I'm like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, you're right about that. He's the antithesis of what we would know as John Constantine. It's not the same, so fine. Yeah. But so let's see, right? It's just. I mean, I really thought we were getting past this kind of like this Warner Bros. Nonsense. But I'll blame the old regime, because this was greenlit or whatever before James Gunn and
it's a little bit of a carryover. Right, absolutely,
exactly. Fine. A few eggs got broken there. I get it. So. Last thing here, let's get to this. We always want to end off great, right? On a high note.
Absolutely.
High note. God damn it. The Last of Us. We haven't spoken about this in a few weeks, right? I haven't seen the last episode. I know it released early because of the Super Bowl.
I just saw that today.
I didn't see it, so I don't want any discussion about it.
I won't spoil it for you.
I heard it's great. I really heard it's great.
It's a lot of fun.
I mean, I know the story, and I think I know what's going down, but I'd rather wait. But that being said, whatever, focus on what's been going on, and let's just show that we love off the bat, and has been, I think, getting better as it's gone on. And it's apparent that obviously a lot of people think that, and the word's spreading because I think it's every week's increasing in viewership, right? I think it's between the first week and now, not the last one, it's gone up 60% viewership. That's huge. That's a huge.
And let me tell you something. The show is confident in its ballsiness to do 2 episodes, build the momentum, and the 3rd episode is forget everything you just saw. Now it's a love story. Not even a regular love story. It is a gay love story. We're going to commit to it being a gay love story. We're not going to allude. We're not going to be like, well, we'll cut away with like a peck and a kiss, like in Modern Family. Like, it is 2 men falling in love for all the right reasons. Nothing seems forced. Put it this way. I have a friend of mine who is Jamaican, and he saw this, and after watching this episode, he texted me. He's like, listen, real talk, aside from that level of gay that I don't have in me, I would love to find a relationship as true as that. And that is a big statement in all the context of what I just said. All right? That is it was amazing how genuine and sweet and soft and desperate and real that 3rd episode was. And then to jump from there to episode 4, not 5, we're not going to talk about it. You haven't seen it. I'm going to hit that after my review. But episode 4 was one of the best setup episodes I've seen in a long time. There wasn't a lot of payoff, but they moved all the pieces in place. They moved characters' experience and progressions forward in a clip that made sense. It wasn't dramatic. It was like, it had to happen sometime, so it's happening now. Yeah. Like when Ellie sees Joel, like the dude about to kill Joel, and she shoots him, and then Joel tells her to walk away, and he kills her, and you just see it off camera. Like that level of like, this is what we need to do to get you to Montana. Like that is what we are it is heartbreaking, and it is relentless in its honesty. I really enjoyed that, especially you played the game.
Of course.
So when I obviously Kansas City is doubling for Pittsburgh. Right. I will say in episode 5, you will understand why they did it under production value.
Oh, gotcha.
There's a thing. They say a thing that you're like, oh, I get it now. But like, and it's real simple. But you can say like, you just saved like $200,000 doing this. So I understand why you made this overall change of it. But like episode 4 was a great setup. I would have liked a little bit more, but it's only because I'm spoiled. But what they're doing, it was a great setup. Episode 5, without ruining too much for you, I will say massive payoffs.
I figured.
Massive payoffs. Very true to the feelings you experience in the game without being 100% accurate to the game. And it's great. And they have this one scene that you've seen 100 times over in, like, from The Walking Dead to World War Z, you've seen a version of what you're going to see. But the emotional implications of what's happening during this action sequence, the set piece, was great because everything circled around into each other. Everything paid off. Everything had value. It showed what happens when you dedicate yourself too much to something, whether it's vengeance or it's love. If you're relentless in your pursuit of both those things, it will consume you and destroy you. And it is heartbreaking and beautiful and exciting and scary. And I'm hooked on a singer in this series. I mean, can't say enough.
And I love how the show. I mean, as a gamer, right? So we have a different perspective than a lot of other people, I'm sure. But how they kind of just give us stuff from the game and then take their liberties with the story, like in episode 3. Episode 3 was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Great storytelling. It's just some of the writing is unbelievable. But taking something like that game, right? And it's not like I know people get excited because they see gay people. Then, oh my god, they're trying to go and woke. The game.
It's in the game.
The game did have them as a gay couple. They didn't show it, but I forgot the main character. They talked about his partner Frank, I think his name. They did show him.
Frank and Bill.
Yeah, Bill was the main character. He talked about Frank, and obviously it was you understood that it was a gay relationship. Obviously, they didn't go into that details that the show did, which I love. The show did that, right, giving us a different perspective of what it was, because they kind of show it in the game. He's dead. They find him dead. He hung himself after he was infected, right? So we know he died and whatever, but. I love how they took the liberty and just give us that side of the story, dive into that. It's so important in setting up who Joel, how he does what he does, obviously. And episode 4, you're right, setting up, because we're waiting for that relationship to build, right? This whole show is really relying on the relationship between Ellie and Joel. If that doesn't work, the show doesn't work. It does not work. Them setting that up, finally getting those moments where, like, he's kind of warming up to her. Really cool. And I love the scene because this scene is straight from the game, almost verbatim. The scene in the truck with the magazine.
Oh yeah,
that was
what is? Yeah,
they just took it directly from the game, and I like it because that was a scene in the game that I thought, this is different because it's just a funny scene.
Well, that and the puns.
And right. It's quiet moments in the game that kind of really build the relationship. You don't see that in a lot of games, right? And I remember, particularly when I was playing it the second time I played it, when I got the HD version of it or whatever, and my girlfriend walked in, she's in the background, she's hearing this scene, and then when she comes over, she's like, "Oh, what is this?" I was like, "He's playing this game." I thought it was like a movie or something, and you got the vibe that this story is more. This is not just a video game, right? It's a story, and the acting and scenes like that are great. It's another scene with the giraffe that comes down the road, which I'm hoping they include here. Very cool, man. I love that, man, and I know it's coming. I'm sure episode 5. I have an idea what's happening because I know, but it seems like they handled it the right way. This is good.
I will say one thing. I was watching like the behind the scenes where they do for every episode with the interview they pass and everything. I love those. Yeah. And they were talking to the original writer of the video game. And he says, when the executive producer to the series came up to me, says, "Hey, I know the relationship between Henry and Sam, but I was thinking, let's make Sam deaf because it would show a need to communicate with his brother more." He looks at the camera and goes, "I got to tell you, I was so mad when I heard that because I was like, oh, I wish I would have thought of that." And I was like, I get it. I totally get it. It works so well in the context.
When it showed the trailer for this episode 5, and I'm like, and he's shining to him, like, he wasn't deaf in the game. Which again,
yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I thought they were being quiet to not be
right.
Proud,
exactly. That was my first thought. You just mentioned, I was like, oh, okay, well that makes sense, and okay, interesting. Yeah. See, I don't mind change stuff as long as it's good. If you're gonna change something, add to it. Right?
And it adds
and that's what they've been doing the whole time.
Interesting layer to the world that you're living in, that you're watching, experiencing. And that's like, I get so mad sometimes, like. Sometimes, when I talk to people about, like, for example, the Watchmen movie versus the Watchmen TV series on HBO, they're like, "Oh, the Watchmen movie is almost 100% accurate." I'm like, that's cool, but I would have liked to see the Watchmen happening now, not in the context of the 80s.
Correct.
To see what social comments we could make about now, because that's what Watchmen did as a comic. It made comments on the 80s.
Of course.
So I feel like that's why the Watchmen TV series worked so well, because it was making comments on our social issues now.
Exactly.
And I love when you take the spirit of what you're doing and incorporate to, like, well, we're making this now, this maybe come out 5 years ago. So let's do now and take our knowledge of now. So making it 2003 to 23, it gives you that comparison, like what our world would be like now if that would have happened. The 2013, 2033, you kind of like, oh, it's the future. You don't know. I think there's a really smart way to go about it, and this is one of those shows that is very, very thoughtfully reinterpreting minor points to give more layers to the experience. Absolutely. And it's just a really smart way to go about it.
Yeah, it's been a home run, and it's exactly why the show's viewership has increased. It's that simple. Because it's good. Yeah. People are talking about it, you liking it, more people are watching, catching up, and right? It doesn't take rocket science. I really wish Netflix and other did the weekly thing. It just makes sense. It's good business, right? People are talking about a show for 8 weeks. People are gonna probably end up watching, as opposed to a weekend. You miss it, no one's talking about it. Next,
because they binged it,
right?
Which is big, like
which is cool for us to binge it, because Last of Us was. If you're doing, we watch
this is the way I see it. If you're doing a brand new IP that no one's ever heard of before, I can understand the idea of binging because you want to give them the whole experience up front. But if you're going to do something based on a comic book or a video game or an old movie where there's context to everything, do it weekly or every week, release 2 to 3 episodes at a time, because you're building the anticipation of what's going to happen next. And people that know the product are going to watch it, obviously, and go like, oh, this is different than that. But everyone that's experiencing it for the first time is going to be like, this is amazing. And that's a way smarter way to go about it when it's a pre-existing IP.
It's marketing.
It just makes sense.
Let's just show like Wednesday. We talked about Wednesday. Hugely popular. Whatever you thought about it, it's a huge popular show, right? Obviously. And I don't think they expected that. It happens, right? Not light in the bottom. Season 2, if they were wise, would be a week to week thing.
Absolutely.
People are gonna watch it because they're already familiar with the property. They're going, of course I'm gonna watch it because it's Wednesday. It may blow up. More people watch it because it's a week. It just makes it's good business sense. I don't understand that. It's HBO is a clear example. All these other streamings are doing week to week now for the most part. I think Apple does it. Amazon does it.
If you're smart,
they all do it. Peacock, whatever.
You take your season and you split it in half, and you keep it like 2-3 months apart to give everyone enough time to catch up, and then you do a second half of it. Kind of like Stranger Things did it. He-Man did it. Like I think
You is doing that, doing the part 1.
Oh, is it really? Yeah, I think that's a really smart way because you're giving enough time for people to binge, the carryover, build anticipation. Short 3 months, 2-3 months, and then if it's the second half, it's a great way to reward and build anticipation.
Like Stranger Things should be weekly. The last season should be a weekly release.
You know that you're not wrong about that. That would be a great way to hammer in everyone to watch. Absolutely.
Squid Games, right? A week to that was a huge show.
Huge.
A week to it just and if you got a property you know it's going to be big, do it week to week. Everyone else does it. Last of Us was we knew the gamers, but we're a small portion of the viewership, right?
Absolutely.
Knew what it was, but they had confidence in the show, and this is what happens. You got a good product, people are going to watch it. They will watch it.
That's it, man.
People are going to talk about it. It shows legit. It's great. Come on. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I can't wait. I mean, I'm just like, this is 10 episodes. I don't remember if it's 10 or 8. I hope it's 10.
I think it's 8.
Oh,
I think it's 8.
That's sad because it's only 3 weeks.
I know.
I'm trying to remember the game. Like, okay, what part? Which I know it's coming. Where?
Maybe it's 10. I might be wrong. I believe it's 8. Maybe it's 10. I might be wrong.
I'll check now. But yeah, that being said, I mean, man, the show is.
Well, while you're checking, I'm gonna say this. As much as I'm happy that The Last of Us is doing so well, because we're talking HBO Max, Warner Brothers as a whole. I don't know if we talked about it, but we do have to give a sad condolence that they officially announced. We got our wish, but as every great monkey paw wish happens, the monkey paw gives you a thing you want, but it takes away a thing you love. And we got the official notification that Titans is being canceled, but Doom Patrol is also being canceled. It was a bittersweet announcement.
Right. Yeah, I talked about it in Washington.
It was a bittersweet announcement.
Yeah.
It made me very sad. And as great as The Last of Us is, and I'm like, look, we're getting this amazing opportunity to show the rest of the world the thing that we've all experienced. Right. We're also losing a beautiful thing that we were all cherishing, like a baby bird with a broken wing. We're like, oh, you can grow. But then we're like, just kill this garbage monster called Titans, and we killed Titans.
This is a glass half full because we lost Titans, and that's always a good thing. And
I mean, I was so happy.
No qualms about that, but at least they knew that was coming, so they have a true ending to the show.
I do appreciate that. I do enjoy that. There, I'm sad that Titans has an opportunity to close out properly. I wish they would have
canceled that flat.
They could have just canceled it like the last episode. By the way, no one comes back, locks on the door. Whatever. I would have loved that. Yeah. But I'm glad Doom Patrol is getting a proper exit.
Yeah, so we'll have another 6 episodes, I think. I forget how many. I mean, it could be 4 or 5, whatever.
It could be 4, it could be 6. I hope
whatever.
6.
It could be 6. I forget how long it is. But yeah, so yeah, you're right. So yeah, it's a bittersweet moment for HBO. At least we're getting a true ending to the show. I mean, if you're going to end, at least give us an ending, right?
So on the bright side, we are getting a proper ending, like I said, of Doom Patrol. We're getting a good season 1 ending of The Last of Us. They already said it's already confirmed for a season 2.
Of course, we knew that was coming.
Which I'm assuming will be the second game. The way it's just tracking right now.
I don't want to spoil. I mean, not saying anything because those are, we know the games. I don't want to. Big changes need to be made. I think.
Right.
But maybe not. Right. Maybe not. I'll be shocked if they stick with the game plan from the second game. I really would. I'll be happy about it because that's bold. It's bold. I'll leave it at that.
Super bold.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. But it's 9 episodes, by the way.
Oh, 9. Okay. So one more than we expected. So we're in the middle ground.
Okay, we're right in the middle there because not 10, it's not 8, so 9. So,
sure.
But yes, I'm sure it's gonna ramp up here. Yeah, because they have to. I'm trying to think of the games. Okay, I'm trying to think of the scenes. I'm missing. Okay. Oh yeah, we're getting some good stuff coming. But yeah, obviously we'll talk about that now. I'm pumped. I'm seeing 5 tonight. And all that, obviously because Sunday's Super Bowl and I'll be watching that.
Right,
but that being said, but yeah, so good stuff from the good job HBO. Kudos, man. They killed it. This is the best video game property ever made, as far as I'm concerned.
Seriously, it's super fun.
It's not up for debate. I mean, it's a low bar. I get it. There's Sonic and whatever.
Now it's Last of Us.
Oh, now it's Last of Us.
Sonic's still the best movie.
Movie-wise,
Last of Us now the best TV series.
For Sonic, it's fair, but just in total, just TV. I mean, yeah, whatever it is, movie, show, whatever. Last of Us is up here, and everything else is whatever, right? Most of it's down at next to Titans.
Total garbage.
It's right there by National Treasure and Titans. And it's the debated which actually is the best one of those. But that being said, them are the Nuggets. Eric, back to you.
Guys, that has been the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all the love you guys are giving us. Don't forget to like and subscribe here on the channel. Don't forget to follow us on social medias at Nerdsplaining Pod on Instagram, at Nerdsplaining _ on Twitter. Don't forget to go to the Latin Nerd Network here on YouTube where you can like and subscribe with this show and shows like The Watch List and Thanos' Choice. If you want to see or listen to the original audio episodes, you can go to ericdasilva.com, ERICDASILVA. All those episodes are there for you, free to listen to. We have tons of guests. We got guests coming in this year as well. We're very excited about. We'll get to that later on as we get closer. Don't forget, you can also buy my album, Adorably Offensive, while you're there. It is a great gift for you to, if you want to break from the nonsense there was, just want to laugh, and they want to laugh about inappropriate things in a really fun way. Great album. I'm just saying it's fantastic. Get it for your friends or for your enemies. Everybody loves it. Not even a problem. Guys, as always, I have been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know, now you know. Boom.